All right, folks. So this is part 2 of your narrative story. This is the second time I'm recording it because the first time I recorded it, I lost it somehow. I think I accidentally stopped it or I never started it in the first place. We left off, I think, I'm not sure where we left off in the last one. Oh, right here with Soror. So Lucius finds his sister and he calls her sister, which is kind of weird. But sister, I say, and then he tells her about what happened in school. He describes himself as ignovissimus, which means very, very lazy. Then he says something about his pedagogus. We're right here now. And he says the pedagogus nerat patri, the totam rem. The totam rem means the whole thing, like the whole event that happened in school. So Lucia listens to him, and then she responds right here and tells him what he ought to do. Remember, Debes is you ought. So the to is the you part. That's one of your new pronouns. You ought to do this, is what she says. Lucia, I asked, how? He's asking her how he makes this happen. You have the word rem again, just like you had rem up here with totam rem. You now have rem again, and it's hoc rem, this thing. So how do I efficio? How do I bring about this thing? How do I do this? And then we have a bunch of imperatives. Noli consumere, lege et scribe. You should be able to handle an imperative by now. If you don't remember how to handle an imperative, you need to go back to chapter 11 grammar notes and check it out. Then I did something. That's what Lucia said. I consensi, agreed. If you come to a consensus, you agree, right? Then the cook called and he gave an order, another imperative, venite. But Lucius uses a bunch of perfect tense verbs here, iwi, scripsi, legi, ambulawi, to tell us what he did instead of going to lunch. But Lucius didn't stay doing that for long because Isurie bomb. And if you scroll up to your vocab, you have Isurio right here. He was hungry. But of course he was hungry. He skipped lunch. Fames, which means hunger, interrupted. Don't forget to translate the prepositional phrase eam meam mentem. Or sorry, in meam mentem. I don't know why I said eam. So then he tells us what he did again using perfect tense verbs, veni, and then spectavi. And he saw totam familiam et mensam. Then he tells us what was on the table in mensa. And then he tells us what everybody was doing. They were all doing the same thing. All of these people that are listed here were consumebant a pavonum. And everyone was laetissimi. We've seen that word several times. Remember, he was really happy because when he went to the gladiatorial games, laetissimi means very happy. Then Father talked to him, and this is where Father explains the joke. He starts out with to a soror. And then he says, Ea es Calida, she is very clever. And then he explains what she did to trick Lucius. And he calls her a dux femina facti. This is the joke. There's actually two jokes here. One is that Lucius tricked Lucius. The other is that Father is now also making fun of Lucius because he calls Lucia a dux femina facti, which is a quote from Virgil, which is what Lucius didn't know in the first place. So basically, it's like dump on Lucius Day. At this point, you should know what most of the story says. Hopefully, you've been pausing to translate and then picking it back up. If you have questions, ask me, because eventually you will be tested on this story. So if you need anything, let me know. And you can listen to this as many times as you need to. Thank you.